and I'm a practitioner who's in his third year transitioning into an adjunct position at Bradley University. And so I thought I'd share maybe with you the first 3 years problems and things that kind of hit me. I'm a dinosaur. I grew up in the 70s, the early 70s, and got my degrees in the early 70s. So I'm used to textbooks that are very, very simple. You just read them and work the problems at the end and you're done. And like most dinosaurs, you kind of get knocked out by meteors. I mean, that's what caused it. So I'm going to give you some ideas about some meteors that hit me and how to avoid them. The first thing I noticed were the textbooks themselves. The textbooks come with operating manuals now. They absolutely do, and I suggest you spend some time looking at the operating manual of the textbook. Now, they start out with the learning objectives. They teach the learning objectives in the columns next to the text, and then the problems are put around the learning objectives. And your exams will become part of the learning objectives. So read the manual. Read the manual. That's my first piece of advice. Second, different people learn in different ways. Susan has a great handout. So I think it's on her website. There are the visual learners like I am, the oral learners, those that must learn by doing. And so you have to design your course to accommodate all those people, not just the way you learn. And I because I'm a visual learner, I like to teach with Blackboard, I like to teach with overheads, and not everybody learns that way. So you have to be cognizant of that. The amount of learning materials that you're going to get when you sign on, they're going to give you a box about this long and about this tall. And it's going to have the 3M slides that we used to have in the 70s, that's dinosaurs, but it's going to come with a lot of other things. Diskettes, instructor manuals, student manuals, which they call learning guides, a lot of electronic work paper formats, Excel formats, a Blackboard cartridge probably to download, or WebCT cartridge to download, PowerPoint slides, online quizzes, which are very helpful, and gradebooks you can keep online. So these students want to see a lot of feedback and they want to see a lot of visual things online, so I suggest you embrace that. Something that startled me when in the dinosaur years, in the 70s, we pretty much learned our accounting on our own. But most of these students work in teams. And you'll find they're always doing homework in teams. And then usually about 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when my emails start coming in. Between 2 and 4 in the morning, a lot of those students will email questions to you. I respond to them about 9 o'clock the next day. I'm trying to accommodate them, but they're always working together. I mean, we have a formal accounting tutor lab, and if students have problems, they go to that tutor lab. So there's this fine line, I guess, between working together and cheating, I guess, and you have to embrace that and figure out where the line should be drawn. Understand the diversity of the intellectual journey. Graduate students are altogether different characters than undergraduate students. Graduate students are very, very sharp students, some of them smarter than I am, in different disciplines than I am. My first class, the first guy was an Air Force Navy graduate for the Navy College who flew FA-18s off the end of aircraft carriers. He's a very talented person. He had a master's degree. The next guy had a PhD in electrical engineering. And I was kind of wondering why I was standing up there. So understand the difference between graduate students and undergrad students. Undergrad students struggle. We don't let any undergrad students, any freshmen, take our principles course unless they have an ACT score of 26 or above. And they still struggle. So there's a complete diversity in those students. What surprised me is the high drop rate. I currently have a drop rate of about 50% of my undergraduate students. I have no drops in my MBA students. So just be aware, it's not personal. Somebody mentioned it earlier. You kind of take it personally, but they shop, and they're shopping for a grade. We call them mini-maxers. They want the maximum amount of grade for the minimum amount of effort, and they'll take the course 2 or 3 times to get their A, because they know that they'll get better the next time they come through it. So those are my thoughts. Stay away from those meteors, and you'll survive as a